Before we get started with today's video, I just wanted to give you a friendly reminder that my Patreon is live, patreon.com/tristateedc. It is in the description. Any new members get a whole mess of free stickers at the lowest tier, and at the $25 tier, you get a free t-shirt. Speaking of t-shirts, the Tri-Stash t-shirts are now available over on Teespring. The link is also in the description. Take a look if you want to wear a knife-covered mustache on your body. Enjoy the show. For any of you longtime followers of the channel, you know the following statement to be undeniably true. My name is Tri-State and I am a Wharny whore. I love Wharnies. I'd say at least of all of the knives I own or have owned, are or have been Wharncliffes, or Wharncliffe style, Wharncliffe inspired. And if I had to give a reason for this, I'd have to say primarily it's the looks. They're so out there and so different from any other knife shape, blade shape that I have ever seen growing up, and secondarily, functionality, at least for my day-to-day purposes. A Wharny is an excellent utility cutter. And this, the QSP Pelican, is one of my latest Wharncliffe-laden acquisitions. The Pelican here is a thick and hardy full-size liner lock made of some seriously fine materials. The scales are wonderfully done, contoured micarta, and they look great and feel amazing in the hand. The stainless steel liners are skeletonized, helping to keep the weight down on such a big, gnarly Wharny. And, speaking of big and gnarly, the Wharny at the business end is done up in S35 VN. Now, if you're like me and you almost never read the spec list before buying a knife, let me hit you with the basics real quick. This thing is massive. This thing is immense. It's huge, gigantic. There's no way around it. The handles are thick and will fill any sized hand without question. Closed up, it's not exactly a dainty looking piece. That big Wharny sticks way out of the handles when it's closed, so it's not exactly what I would call an easy carry. But it isn't in any way awkward to carry on a daily basis. The pocket clip is this simple blue anodized machine titanium job, which, plain as it may be, looks nice and carries relatively well and secure, although it does not in any way carry deep. You will have a substantial amount of knife sticking up out of the pocket. Now, as far as looks go, I really don't have any complaints. The size doesn't bother me, it carries pretty well. The blue accents are a nice touch paired with the dark micarta scales, and the satin finish on that insane slab of S35 VN is really well done. Overall, it's a great looking knife. But the QSP logo, or should I say both different QSP logos, feel so cheap and so strange on such a well-made, good-looking knife. The one stamped on the blade with the flames and the weird blocky font, it feels toy-like, flea market-esque, and the weird Illuminati triangle on the pivot, I mean, why? Just why, QSP? Your knives are too good to be cheapened by some terrible graphic design work. Anyway, other than that, the looks are nice, top to bottom. Now then, the ergos on this thick and juicy folder are top-notch. As I mentioned before, those micarta scales have some excellent contouring and the material is finished very well. So you get a nice bit of grip from the natural texturing of the micarta, and the contouring snuggles up to every nook and cranny of the hand. And I just feel so locked in when I'm using this thing. I just feel like I have all of the control in the world over that man-eating death Wharny. And it feels good. I feel powerful. And, you know, I like it. Pair all of that with the well-done jimping along the blade spine, and I really can't find a thing to complain about as far as the ergos go. Well done. Moving on to the blade. Oh, hot damn, that blade is immense. Just massive. Again, the blade here is satin finished S35 VN, which is a great EDC steel, and, you know, some would say a super steel that has decent rust resistance and a solid edge retention. And because this blade is so insanely tall, the nearly full flat grind, nearly, brings that edge down, all the way down. The final cutting edge is good and thin, and when I pulled this thing out of the box and made that first cut, my pupils dilated, my hands began to tremble, and I broke out in a cold sweat. This thing, although made of some thick and hardy blade stock, is mind-blowingly sharp and slicey, like super slicey, scary slicey, damn near Spyderco factory edge slicey. And I mean, that's some high praise. I absolutely love using this thing. It's so big, so comically outrageous looking, but good God, was this thing made to work. And it is yet to disappoint me as far as the cutting performance goes. A great looking blade that works exceptionally well. Pass. It's a pass. That's a good thing. It's like A+. And finally, the action, and like the blade, the action here is just seriously exceptional. Now, outwardly and or visually, this is a flipper and a flipper only, and it works really well as a flipper. The detent could be a little bit stiffer, but that being said, if it was, I'd probably hurt my finger. So if you give it the gas as is, that big Wharny flies out with some authority and locks in place with a nice satisfying click from the lock bar. But for the spidey flickers among you, thanks to the fact that there is so much blade sticking out when it's closed, and thanks to the tapering of the blade, you can totally open this thing pretty reliably with a thumb flick or reverse flick. It might take you a minute to figure it out, but once you do, you can hit it every time. So although a flipper only, fidget factor is pretty damn good. And on the close, thanks to those insanely smooth bearings that QSP rubs, I don't know, the blood of small children on to smooth them out. I don't know what kind of witchcraft's going on over there. And also, thanks to the big heavy blade, this thing slams shut. Like, if it wasn't for the flipper tab stopping on your thumb, you would lose a finger or two. I mean, Jesus, it's a guillotine. And it's insanely smooth and totally silent, no grit, no excess noise. Overall, I adore the action. It is really impressive all around. So all of that sounds pretty good, right? I think so too, but all of that becomes truly face-meltingly mind-blowing when you hear the price. Brand new, at retail, the QSP Pelican here is only $117. $117. What? Excuse me? Fit and finish and overall build quality, top notch. The materials here, micarta, titanium, S35VN, all high end. The action is incredible. The blade is a slicing machine. The ergos are wonderful. How is this so cheap? And why didn't I buy one sooner? If you like big knives and you like Wharnies, pick one up. You will not be disappointed. Or maybe you will, but I promise it will not be the knife's fault. So until next time, thank you for watching. Bye-bye now.